For this gaming interview, I sat down with Kelly, a Twitch streamer who plays Halo games blindfolded. His ultimate goal is to beat Halo 1 or Halo CE completely blindfolded.
Can't believe that, dude. Oh shit, wait, I can hear it.
Let's get moving. Bowhammer, here are coordinates and a flight plan I've worked up. Cortana, these coordinates are underground. The Covenant did a thorough seismic scan, and my analysis shows that Halo is honeycombed with deep tunnels, which circle the whole ring.
Yeah, and as a Halo fanboy, I really enjoyed this one. Kelly also, he enjoys talking a bit, so hope you guys all enjoy the interview with Kelly, the man trying to beat Halo with a blindfold.
So my name is Kelly. I go by KMaddify on Twitch. I've been creating content off and on since early 2016, late 2017. I didn't really start taking streaming seriously until 2017 when the affiliate program came out. Got it right away, and I was just like, all right, we're gonna grind this out. I was still working at the time, and then in 2019, I started posting a lot of Halo clips to Twitter. They gained a bit of notoriety, and from there, super genuine, authentic support, and I was able to go full-time in 2019, and I've been full-time ever since. So
Dang.
pretty rad.
So when it comes to like a main descriptor of your content and what you do, how would you tell the people out there?
The best way to describe it would be just spontaneous rambunctiousness in the best way. Obviously I do visual effects. It's a bit bare bones now. But I'm trying to get it all back. But a lot of chat interaction, a lot of visual effects, and I'm very production value focused. Just trying to establish a unique sense of just authenticity with the stream. You know, really give people a, oh, that's that one guy that does that one thing, type of vibe, and at the same time kind of translate that into gameplay. I'm a really big fan of challenge runs, just trying to break the mold really of how to play a game. I'm also a really big fan of fighting games. I do a lot of just, I'm pretty much mainly variety, even though I did establish quite a bit of a base with Halo. It's just kind of a jack of all trades kind of thing. So a mix of challenge gameplay, just crazy, high level energy at very, very weird hours of the night, and just trying to establish some genuine, relationships and connections.
Yeah, because I was seeing your tweets and you were like, oh, I'm just going to bed, and I was like, it's like 3 p.m. my time, and he's just going to bed right now.
Yeah, the subathon has kind of checked out my schedule a bit, but I'm trying to like stay up all day just to fall asleep at 8 o'clock at night and just get things back up and running, but hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So.
And we were talking right before this. You mentioned how you had quite a few keybinds. I don't know if it works in Discord, but like, is there anything you can show off to like tech wise that you do that kind of keep things unique and keep things,
So I mean, the only thing I have attached to my keyboard right now that you're gonna see is just camera filters. So, anything from just a bunch of like flashy, just every
so I'm
like.
drunk. I told you.
Yeah, man. Just a bunch of flashy little, flares and stuff and production and what have you. And I do give off flash warnings and just very I do give off flash warnings and trip. Yes, yeah. I really actually I had to do that. Because I was getting people messaging me. They were like, yo, Kelly, like, I can't go into your stream and you're just blasting it away like that. And I'm just like, oh shit, like I'm sorry. I'll do my best.
No, that's
so I have like a little auto message just like, hey, just so you know.
Yeah.
And then I got like funny faces and stuff that, I can like pop my head out, just like go wide, go flat, and you know, it's just a whole bunch of stuff, you know.
No, that's awesome. I love seeing like all the niches on Twitch and just streaming in general. You found so many, like obviously it's so saturated now, so you have all these different streamers trying so many different things, right? So it's
Yeah, man.
it's funny to run into all these things. I obviously came across you from Halo though, from my love
Yes.
of Halo. So can you take me back to your roots? Like when did you first come across Halo and why did you start playing Halo?
I started playing Halo 3 days after the first game came out. I'm 32 now. I started playing, so this would have been, I think I was like 9. I had a buddy of mine who got the Xbox right away. He had a pretty like well-established like family. Was able to get the Xbox right away. Had like a home theater and always, you know, and like was just always like chilling out like downstairs playing games. And he showed me his Xbox and he showed me Halo. And before that, I had only played Doom and like early Wolfenstein games as far as shooters are concerned, and maybe a little GoldenEye here and there. And I wasn't good. And I remember playing Two Betrayals, the mission where like the monitor turns on you, right? And you have to go out. And I just remember seeing like the snow and the frost and the iciness. And then I jumped off the top of the tower and I died from fall damage. And I was just like, oh my God, like that was amazing. And that was it. That was the light. I was just like, I need this game. I need this game. I need this Xbox and I want to play. And from there, it was just campaign, getting my friends to come over, do some split screen co-op where I'd play Sidewinder, the BTB map. Literally, I would 1v1 my friends on Sidewinder until we got bored. And then we would grab warthogs and just run into each other, knock each other out of the warthogs, and then try and run each other over after that. And like that was it. That was like the base foundation of Halo. And then I found out actually pretty early on about competitive Halo. The Halo Nationals, which took place in 2002, I want to say, was on G4. That was on G4's channel. Most people like nowadays don't remember G4, but the video game channel. Oh, you remember?
Rest in peace, yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace. It became like a Walgreens Spike TV with all the other shows that like cops and stuff. But it used to be all about video games, and they had this show that showed that Halo Finals, and I was able to see, you know, this first establishment of playing Halo for money and swag and like free stuff, and I was like, dude, this is insane. Like, I want to be a part of this. I really do. I was 12. Yeah.
You were 12 at Halo Land?
Snakebite did it. Yeah. No, that was the thing back in the day. It was before there was no age restrictions. There's no age restrictions. I remember like Black Ops 2, like they were like trying to get Scumpy to compete or something, but there was like issues because he was like 17. I'm like, dude, wait, what? Like, it's like one of the best players in the game, and you're like, because of his age, you're not gonna let him play? Like, what the like?
Back in the Halo days, they probably had no like prize money on the line, so they were like, yeah, sure, why not?
No, like you would freak out if you got like a gift card to Taco Bell, or if you got like a shirt, or like a free copy of the game or something like that.
Yeah.
There really wasn't that much prize money established, but at the same time, I wasn't planning on trying to win any of that. It would have been cool. The idea of making money while playing Halo at the time was, or just like playing video games in general at the time, was still very infant.
Yeah.
So like that was just such a new concept to people. So obviously for someone impressionable like me, like a 10-year-old kid, I'm gonna let that become 75% of my personality for the rest of my life, and then I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna still be playing Halo at 32, and then I'm gonna grab a blindfold and then try and play it that way. But no, my core establishment with Halo was a mix of just campaign and just playing with my friends, local split screen and stuff, and then luckily getting to go to those tournaments. Not with my parents. My teammates' parents were actually a lot cooler, and I don't even think my grandma knows that I went to like Arlington, Virginia, for like just a bunch of tournaments and stuff like that when I was like 12, 13. So sorry, Grandma.
So like, at what point in the line then are you like, okay, you know what? I love this game. I was a young kid trying to compete and just have fun at tournaments. So at one point in the line, are you like, you know what? I want to just start playing levels with a blindfold on. When did that cross your mind?
If you want like when did I really start to put in the time? Probably last year. But I can go back into my VODs and like highlights probably all the way back to maybe 2020, 2021, where I was talking to my chat, and for some reason I got this thought, like, someone is like, how many times have you played this campaign, Kelly? Just like, dude, I can play this thing with my eyes closed. I was just like, wait a minute. And then I thought to myself, because I'm not sure like how familiar you are with the beginning of Halo 1's campaign, but you come out of the cryo chamber and you got to get to Captain Keyes. He's on the bridge. Like, they're like, hey, you got to go talk to Captain Keyes. You got to take Cortana. You got to get off the ship. You got to go down. That's like the establishment of the campaign. And I was like, well, in theory, you can just go up this hallway, go right, go up, go right, go up, go left, go up, go left, go up, go left, go up, left, up, right, without turning. Maybe I can do that with my eyes closed. And I tried it. I grabbed a bandana, and I think it took me like 2 hours or something, and I was getting stuck, and I was trying to do it with a controller at first, and I was getting aim assist on like random elites running around, so they were like, so I'm trying to establish a straight line, and I'm just like.
So when it comes to the time spent, let's break this down individually, because I've seen 2 of your runs now. So when it comes to Pillar of Autumn, how much time was spent in preparation and then for the run itself, the final run itself?
Like the most recent one?
Yeah, the most
and
recent
the prep
one?
that I did for the most recent one, or just like
the entirety of the prep, not even just the most recent stuff, but the entirety of the prep throughout your entire time on Halo.
Okay. So when I first started trying to take it seriously, I would say I'd spend like a good quality, like maybe couple hours with stream, just kind of going through each level. And I will establish this, like, it is a lot more approachable than it seems. That's I think another reason why I do it. I'm not like, it would be dope if I could encourage people to try and play the game like this, but obviously you don't have to. It's very, it's very niche, but it is relatively approachable. It's not as intimidating as I want people to think. It's not as intimidating as you think. Like, I want it to be established that, just like with anything, if it's just repetition, just kind of reinforcing your strategies and what have you, like, you can do it. But I spent a good fair amount of hours just kind of going through and establishing a good solid sense of how I'm going to approach the level in the simplest way possible, because that's pretty much the breakdown with all of the levels that I've done so far. Is I'll sit there with my eyes open, and I'll pretty much tell myself, how am I going to get from point A to point B in the simplest way possible? Because it gets complicated if you have to turn. It gets complicated if you have to shoot, if you have to fight, if you have to do anything but move forward, backward, side, right. Luckily with Pillar of Autumn, there's not really that much combat that you need to do, save for maybe the end where you have to like kill a couple of Covenant, one elite, and then boom, you're on the escape pod. So that's actually a really good foundation for trying to develop a sense of playing the game with the blindfold, because it's really just a sequence of hallways. So I'm just I get the layout in my head. I know, okay, if I go up, I'm here. If I go right, I'm here. If I go up and I hear like this alarm over my head, I'm there. And it's a sense of really just painting a picture of the level with your mind, without your eyes, and then also using your ears to establish audio cues. There are other games that people do Blindfolded. Super Mario 64 being the most popular of them. Big shout out to the Blindfolded community for Super Mario 64. There's actually quite a few Blindfolded runners for that game. They'll use audio cues, perfect, tech setups, like literally punching a wall 2 times, 3 times to get yourself in the right amount of space past the wall that, you can do a jump up to a tower. And I found that so just crazy, man, that like, it's such a different way of playing the game. And I'm just like, I would love to be able to do that with something that like I know well, like decently well. Like I can't do it with Super Mario 64, but I can do it with Halo. I can do it with Tomb Raider. I've done a couple of levels on the original Tomb Raider as well. But yeah, like no, you just completely change the way you play the game. You try and break it down in its simplest form, getting from point A to point B, and then just establishing a fixed strategy. And then the only difference is, just closing your eyes, putting blindfold on. So
I love how you're just like, the only difference is I just cover my eyes and I just hope for the best.
It really is like as simple as that sometimes, man. It's really just kind of just like with anything, with even with the normal speedrun, you really just establish a repetition of how you're going to execute a strategy. The only difference is you have your eyes closed.
And so when it comes to Pillar of Autumn, how many hours did you put into this level, and then how many attempts to get to that final best run you had?
Okay, so I guess long story. I've messed up a whole lot more than I beat it. So that was one thing I had to establish with people. I was just like, dude, like I fuck up like so much more. Also, can I cuss?
Yeah.
I fuck up way much more than I actually beat the levels. Like, believe that. Sometimes I don't even get out of the first room sometimes because there's just some things that I just mess up and I'm like, okay, I'm stuck. I'm going to go again. And that's fine. That's fine. So I think all in all, every completion I've ever done of POA is, I have it on my YouTube, so shameless plug. I do have it on my YouTube, so I want to say it's like probably close to 10 times that I've beaten the level. Just like going back to it and just beating it. A couple of times I just went back and beat it just to say that I beat it. And then the amount of mess ups I've done, like, oh man, probably double that, triple that.
I can only imagine the endorphins when you actually finally successfully beat a level. But also when it comes to Silent Cartographer, that was the one that was like also I would say a tad more viral. Can you dive into like the hours attempted at that level and when you finally successfully did it? Because I was trying to look back on all the moments. Did you spend 3 hours straight blindfolded? Like, can you give us some details on that?
I did. When I go into a level, I don't get up until it's done. And the one after Silent Cartographer, the one that I'm working on right now, I'm prepared to sit for double that if need be. But Silent Cartographer at first seemed pretty intimidating. Because it seems so big, it seems so vast, even though it is just a giant island. But at the end of the day, I was able to just kind of break it down like, okay, I need to go to one part of the island, then go to the other part of the island, and then go down, hit a button, come back. Pretty simple when, you put it that way, but everything in between of just navigating there and, trying to do all that. That's the part, when people think that, it's just like, oh, that seems like a lot of work. and in a way, it kind of is.
3 hours blindfolded. Like, I just can't, I can't really imagine because I don't talk to a lot of people who are going for achievements where they literally can't see anything. I just can't imagine that once I'm turned in a slightest angle, you just have no idea, like, potentially what way you're facing, and it would mess up the entire thing because you'd just be tossing and turning the rest of the run.
That's pretty much what I had to deal with when I first started, and that's why I switched off controller, because I was getting aim assist from like the Covenant, and it was messing up my lines, and so I'm like, okay, mouse and keyboard just to move, but maybe do a little bit of controller. There is some sections where I do combat, and I'll switch to the controller and just kind of do it just to get it out of the way. But there's audio cues that are around me that I can use to kind of reestablish myself. So
Gotcha.
there is a mix of input usage. Most of my movement is with mouse and keyboard, and then particularly with level 2 and level 3, Halo and Truth and Reconciliation, where you have to fight. You have to fight to progress the level. I'll let the controller do the work, baby. Like, people are like, you get aim assist with that thing. I'm like, dude, I'm not like, I can't see. I'm not. You think I'm gonna be able to kill all these Covenant, dude? Like, no way, man.
And
Absolutely no way.
I know you already told me in DMs, but just so people know, what is your ultimate goal then with this blindfold challenge?
Be the first person to beat the game. I want to beat every single level individually, which at this point, I'm the only person that's done it. If there's anybody out there that just hasn't been streaming, or like, does this in the corner of their room, and just please get that footage out. So I would love to see it, but I want to be the first person to beat the game. And more importantly, I want to have Halo have a blindfolded category extension. Category extension being, you have like your main categories with running a game. You have your any percent, 100% completion, just beating the game or beating the game entirely. And with Halo, it's difficulties. Easy, normal, heroic, legendary. Most people, they'll run the easy version of a game or the legendary version of a game. Some people will do like lasso, if they want to go super crazy. Some people will do deathless, as a challenge. Big shout out to like people like Jervalen, who did that moist critical. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
like
the money challenge. Yeah.
Like that was hype. That was hype as fuck, right? Like, he had so many people watching, and so many people were just like, and I want blindfolded Halo to be one of those extensions, one of those challenging extensions that more people can try and do, because it's in a lot of other games. There's Souls games. You'd be surprised how many Souls players will try and beat monsters blindfolded. They'll
Really? Okay.
There's people that I mentioned Super Mario 64. Big shout out to a speedrunner. His name is Bubzia. He's done as AGDQ marathons, SGDQ marathons, the charity speedrunning marathons that they do every single year, showcasing his blindfolded prowess with that game. And he's the only person ever to have gotten all 180 stars blindfolded. And I think it took him 16 hours or something like that, like one sitting.
I gotta talk to more blindfold peeps.
He gave himself, yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. He gave himself like breaks, put yourself in like a spot, don't see where you're at, but like kind of know where you're at. Gave himself breaks, to go get water, go, use the bathroom, whatever it may be. But yeah, no, he's the first person to beat the entire game, and I think the only person to beat the entire game blindfolded. And I want to do that with Halo. I want to beat each level individually, and then I want to go through that gauntlet, and I want to sit, and I want to do it all in one sitting and not stop until I'm done.
So how many hours do you think that's going to take, like, in terms of overall commitment that you've actually spent towards the game, and by the time you actually can do it, how many hours do you think you will have invested into Halo CE to actually do that?
I want to get a good solid time on every level individually, so that way I hope I'm not sitting there for 20 hours trying to I hope I'm not sitting there for 20 hours trying to beat it. But as long as it takes, if I feel like I've gotten to a stopping point, or maybe I've gotten too tired or something like that, obviously I'm not going to push myself to death and try and, just kill myself trying to beat the game. But I am prepared. I kind of knew that from the start. I knew there was going to be places where I'd get stuck. I knew there was going to be places where I'd have to figure it out. And the way I said, if I can sit 3 hours and just be on the same level, be in the same corner of a room for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour until I figure it out, you know, that's fine with me, man. Like, it's weird. I know, like, most people would just be like, why? You know, and it's like, to me, it's like, why not? You know, it's, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's a way that is keeping the game relevant for me.
That's interesting. That's an interesting answer. Trying to make like one of your favorite games more interesting to yourself, keep it relevant for yourself.
Yeah, I think that's why people speedrun too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, it's a different challenge.
Yeah, keep these
it's
older
really
games more modern.
Exactly. Not only is it impressive to the outside eye looking in to watch somebody just completely destroy a game. I love watching speedruns. Like, it's probably some of my favorite content out there. And I could just sit and watch you go again, go again, go again, go again. And I knew I eventually wanted to get into it. And there are some games that I do regularly just speedrun, and I would love to do that with Halo 2 probably at first. Big shout out to that speedrunning community. They make the game look so fun. But I wanted to do my own unique thing. I think that's an establishment of, we talked about my foundation as a creator. Right off the rip, I was doing just really weird shit. And I'm like, I want to translate that to the games as well. If I can't do it with, you know, flashy filters and VFX and stuff like that, you know, at least let me do it with the games that I play.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important to me.
Well, one last question for you then, because you said you've dabbled in several games. You come back to Halo every now and again, of course, to do these kind of challenges. So, like, what makes Halo so special to you then?
Wow, that's a question. There's so much that makes Halo special. Most of it probably just being what came from it. Really, what a 9-10-year-old kid, if I would have told him all these people I would have met because of this game, in the blink of an eye, I've become 32. And I have been playing this game for over half of my life. And it's so weird to think I don't know where I'd be without it. You know? It's between the friendships, the game, the competitive spirit, taking the competitive spirit that I had with other things and putting it towards something like competitive video games was just so cool to me. And even though it wasn't accepted as much when we were younger, and now it's kind of become like a mainstream thing, like, it was one of the first things where I really just kind of said, you know, I'm passionate about sports, but like, this is something different, man. Like, it's so special in that way that it's just helped establish myself as deep as it gets, and as cliche as it sounds, it's helped establish myself as a person. You know, what I like, what I am willing to do to play the game, what I'm willing to, you know, put myself through. You know, all the late nights of grinding and scrimming and practicing when I did compete, and now, you know, putting myself through these gauntlets of trying to beat these levels blindfolded. I owe so much to the game from a casual standpoint and a competitive standpoint. I owe so much to the community members, my old teammates, new teammates that I might, you know, get along the way. Some core friendships just established throughout the years. And I've been around for a long time. Not many people know that, but I've seen people come and go. The people that stick around and just really just kind of stay dedicated to the game really deserve the world. This game has had many ups and downs. We as a community have had many ups and downs, and the fact of the matter is that, you know, you put me aside. A lot of y'all that are just really showing so much to the game should get more love and should get more flowers. And it takes me back to my core foundation of why I love the game, you know?
Heck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, sorry to keep you so long. I just had so many questions.
Dude, you're good, bro.
Holy crap,
Absolutely.
we've been going for 45 minutes? My God.